we're here. Can you hear me? Can you hear? Okay, I can hear me. Which let's hope means that you can too. All right. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with all this shit, dude. Did you see the Canelo plant? What do you call it? Press conference. um, More importantly, what fucking happened at it? Now this kind of shit happens a lot, but it doesn't ever happen with Canelo. You know, he doesn't like get fucking heated and put hands on people. You usually see it with like fighters that are trying to like get a clip going viral. Usually like fucking meathead MMA idiots. So I was just like scrolling through Instagram and I was like, oh yeah, they probably, talked about how they're gonna win the most confident people in the world, boxers. Like and there's no way I'm gonna lose. I'll knock him out, whoever it is, 2 rounds. That's it. Game over. They're in those moments. Boxers are the best actors ever. Cause I'm watching and I'm like, I believe it. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And then the next guy, like the last Wilder Fury fight, each one of those guys is convincing in their own way. Fury's just like super charming, and you're just like, of course he's gonna knock him out. He'll probably do it before he enters the ring. And then, Wilder's up there just super fucking serious, and then each Fury, I'm like, yeah, that's gonna happen. And then Wilder gets up, and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna win at the same time somehow, and you'll both be given the victory. But Canelo's like man of few words, and when he does have words, it's always through a translator, even though he speaks English perfectly fine. Every time he chooses to, I'm like, I can totally understand you. But I guess I'd do that too. If it's like, fuck you, English. What do we all have to speak English? I will only speak Spanish from now on. I'd do that if I were him. Anyway, so him and Caleb Plant's from somewhere in the South. He's got like a record of 21-0. He's a good fighter. I've watched a lot of his fights. I think he's got skills and promise, and he'll, go on to be like a multi-titleist. I think he's got one now. I don't think he's ready to take on Canelo. I think he'll get a few rounds, but I don't. I think Canelo will stop him. He's a better closer anyway. Plant kind of like first 7 or 8 rounds are like, yeah, but then he just doesn't take care of it, and at least not in the same way Canelo does. And he's fighting like a super elite level in Canelo, and so I think it'll be a interesting fight. It'll probably be similar to how Billy Joe Saunders went down until, of course, he broke his fucking face with his orbital bone. That was a good fight. But both those dudes, high ring IQ, super skilled, like technical boxers. It's going to take someone like that to beat Canelo, even just on the cards. I don't see anyone knocking him out, at least not for a few years till he gets older. Again, when you watch like him and Triple G, there's back and forth whether who won the draw, and then did Canelo really win the second one. I'm fine with the way they scored both those fights. That draw, I think, could have gone either way. Hence the fucking draw. Why do you think they do that? It was like so close they couldn't decide, but people are just ripping each other. The only controversial draws when it's like clearly one way over another. This fight wasn't that. The second one they gave to Canelo, I think he just was a better boxer that night. Like technically, he worked the body better. He was just a slightly better boxer. Would I have been upset if Triple G won that night? I don't think so. I think it would have been fine. but they gave it to Canelo. The only thing I don't like is that he never gave him a third fight. I think that's shitty. Um, I think he should have, and he probably will once he's sure that Triple G won't win, which is an annoying thing boxers do. And I know it's like they don't want to have the blemish on their record. And I've said this before, but losing is fucking good for you. And all these guys know that. But I wish we would get past that Floyd Mayweather fucking perfect record bullshit. I get it. It's I've never lost. Wow, look at me. But before that, you had I mean, Rocky Marciano, fine. He had no losses. But it's I don't look down on a boxer or any athlete. Every other sport, teams and shit have losses. Why is it all of a sudden boxers can never have any? And then it results in shittier fights. So it's like, all right, you're undefeated, but your fucking fights are boring. I feel like a few high level guys, like this happens in MMA, which I don't watch a lot of, but guys lose and no one gives a shit. They're like, yeah, he's still amazing. And then he comes back and wins 6 or 7 fights and everyone's fine. You know, no one's just ready to fucking throw him in a volcano because he lost one fight. So, and Canelo lost, and it's funny, the one he lost was to Floyd, but that loss made him the boxer he is now. So fine, lose a couple. Who cares? If Tyson Fury lost this fight with this third Wilder fight, I don't think it's going to really matter. He's shown he's a better boxer. Fine, he'll have a bad night, and Wilder will, I don't know, come to the ring not wearing a 900-pound suit that made him lose last time or whatever. He'll probably lose because on the way to the ring, he'll be thinking of 900 new excuses. My brain was out of it because I was just formulating so many reasons why I actually lost beyond my technical boxing skills suck. So, I don't know. Fury will probably win that. Most likely will win that. But then, like Wilder says, I just need to be perfect for 1 second. Which he's implying that he's terrible outside of that punch. But, you know, it's one of 46 of some crazy amount, 42 fights. So, yeah, maybe he'll. But in the first fight when he did it, Fury got up. So, guess it wasn't perfect, Deontay. And I've seen the footage of him training and shit, and it's like he's gotten 5% better. And this is where people right now go, "Will you get in?" That is a stupid argument. I'm obviously not a trained fighter. I just like watching it, and I have opinions. So, and you know, just like everyone else, obviously he can lay waste to any civilian in the world. No shit. Let's not even bring that up. But when it comes to, you know, this Fury fight, Fury's the most skilled heavyweight alive. He's amazing. I mean, he boxes like a fucking, you know, lightweight. Like he's just light on his feet. He's like 6'9". His reach is 72. It's crazy. He's going to win. Back to this Plant Canelo fight. Dude. They talked their shit. Canelo's like, I'm going to win in 8. And Caleb's like, I'm going to win in 8 seconds. Blah, blah, blah. And then they do their face off. And usually you're like, okay, they're going to be like. And then that's it. And then they go home. This one, a little differently. I don't know what Caleb Plant said to him. But Canelo started fucking. You know, and then he shoves his ass, and you're like, huh, not really characteristic of Canelo. And Plant goes back, and see, here's what I thought. Well, I'll show you the thing. Hope I don't get in trouble for this. Here we go. Okay, so that's in super slow motion. He open hand slaps him, and people say he missed, but I don't think so. It looks like he obviously saw it coming, and he backs up. I think just in time, and then Canelo goes pop, pop. And does he get a third one in? Yes, he does. Yeah, man, and that's in fucking khakis. So let's play that again. So yeah, I was wondering why Canelo, when he hit back, because I didn't see this. I didn't see Caleb open hand. I thought he went to punch him, but that just shows, I think, they both weren't that serious about it. You know, like they get it. Canelo could have hit him first instead of shoving. I mean, that's literally what he's trained to fucking do, and he knew to shove him. And then Plant came back. He could have fucking closed that fist, but he, open hand slapped him. And then that's why Canelo came back with the open hand. That's why at first I was like, I wonder why Canelo came back, or right here, with the open. And it's because Caleb went, hey, you got some ketchup on your, let me get that for you. Oh, I missed. Hold on. And Canelo's like, here's how you get ketchup. I fucking and now if you see his face, fucking human ketchup all over his fucking. It would suck if they had to, because that looks like a big gash. I wonder if that'll like affect training and they'll have to postpone the fight. And then what? Canelo gets fined? I don't know. Either way, I thought it was like, you're like, oh, cool, like an exciting part of Canelo you don't get to see often. But I say, I don't know if I say, I mean, Canelo himself said Canelo in 8. But Plant's a good fighter. I could see him avoiding any sort of like, serious like body damage that'll take him down, like with Canelo and Callum, who also great fighter and even taller, longer reach. I mean, for him to just all those like clever little like feints and ways to get into Callum's body, that had to be hard. I mean, you got to get past that long ass, reach of his. And I mean, he's a really good fighter. Not unbeatable, of course. Someone someday's gonna get him, and it probably won't be too long now. But I say it goes at least 10, maybe the distance, and Canelo wins on points. Um, that's what my gut says, 10. But you never know. You never know. My main gripe is boxing as a sport in general. And I've talked about this with friends and stuff, but it basically boils down to boxing is boring. And I don't mean that it's slow paced or whatever. I love watching technical masters just fucking break people down and really get in there. I'm not looking for fucking, knockout power and, huge explosive fights and stuff. That's not what I find exciting. I love just watching these guys go. I want fights to go 12 rounds. I think it's boring because these days they just talk shit and never get around to fighting. It fucking drives me crazy. And maybe it drives me even crazier because we know, because of all their social media shit talking, what awesome fights could be happening, as opposed to going, oh yeah, they, Garcia Davis or Devin Haney and Garcia or whoever, all these lightweights, Teofimo Lopez, who's fucking all he does is talk about how he everyone needs to show him something before he fights someone again. Motherfucker, you just won the title. You haven't even defended him. You show us something else. Give Loma the fucking rematch. They should force that. That should happen. More fights need to be sanctioned, forced. Like, you guys need to fight each other. Like, quit talking shit on Twitter and then never fighting. They should be made to fight, and boxing will be better as a result. Again, it's like, right, yeah, they're getting in the ring. I know. It's their career, it's their safety, all that sort of stuff. But that's the job. Train and fight the best guys. They say it. That's all they say is, I'm here to fight the best guys. And then their promoters and all the fucking business ruins it. And then you never see the fighter. You see it 5 years later when they're fucking hobbling in on canes. And you're like, oh, cool. This fucking 270-year-olds are going to go at it. I want them now. I want the good fights now. I'll pay the fucking pay-per-view. Maybe. Make the good fights happen, or people are just gonna keep watching MMA, you know, where there's a fight every fucking 12 hours. And yeah, some of them aren't great, but some of them are good, and guys are willing to lose and come back and win and lose and win. So I think as a sport, it's suffering because they go on Twitter and Instagram and talk all this shit. Spence and Crawford, same shit, man. Just fight each other. Fuck. Get your fucking ego out of the way. What's his name? Spence is fucking complaining over the 60-40 or 70-30 split. Dude, fight the guy. That's what we want. No one wants to see you talk about fighting a guy or what. That's not entertainment. It's be like, and then he said he wanted more money. This is riveting. I could watch him talk about how the purse should be split for another year. No. Get in there and fucking fight each other. At least Pacquiao does it. The guy's getting ready to run for president. And he's just like, yeah, I'll lace him up. Let's fucking get in there. And he lost. And what? Everyone still thinks he's a fucking living legend Hall of Famer. Crawford Spence. Let's fucking see it already, man. Lopez Loma rematch. Fucking do it. Show me something. You're the guy. You get in there. You show us that you can fucking beat him again if you're so sure about it the first time. And you won the first time. Do it again. It's not like rematches or fucking you were blindsided by the idea of one. What's a rematch? Oh, I didn't know those were. Do it. Or fucking put off this Camboso fight for another 7 fucking years with Triller. Now they're just like, oh, maybe we should move venues. What? All right, well, let's just wait until SpaceX can fly people to the moon to box there. Why don't we wait for that? Lopez Cambosos or whatever you like, fighting on the moon. Zero gravity boxing. Here it comes. Get ready, 2080. They're both fucking 97. Even in zero gravity. Anyway, I think Eddie Hearn is good for boxing. You can tell he's like a showman in the way he promotes. I think he's actually trying to get good fights to happen. He's not like Bob Arum who's complaining about how Crawford isn't marketable enough. Fuck you. I think Hearn is good for the sport, and I think we need more guys. We need more guys like Dana White in boxing. Like, get these promoters together. Get these companies together and make good fights happen. I don't need more WBC belts. You know, they have like 750 belts, and they just like, what, we're gonna belt everyone up, and then now boxing's exciting. There's guys in the audience have belts for fucking getting front row seat. The front row seat, ultimate champion, super champion of the regular champion of the second row. Fuck, just fight each other. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not a professional boxer. I'm not a promoter, but I'm a frustrated fan, and I'm sure a million other people feel this way, where you follow these guys on social media and you're like, okay, great. You are talking shit and you're sure you can beat him, and he's sure he can beat you. God, I wonder how we could solve this debate about who would win in a fight. And if only there were people whose job it was to make such an event happen. Oh well, I guess we just talk shit on social media for 6 more years. Get the fight together. What, you're not going to get every last cent you wanted? Maybe fight more and fight better fights, and then you'll be a bigger, better draw, and then you'll get all the fucking money you want. This new class of lightweights say that's what we're doing. They said it a year ago. Haven't seen. I mean, granted, COVID shut down stuff, but there were still fights. There was still boxing during COVID, like mid to late 2020 into now. It's, make it happen from a fucking fan who wants to see this shit. Figure something out. You're not going to be Mayweather. You're not going to be these undefeated legends at the end of the day. They're already criticizing you now. You're padding your record. You're fighting nobodies. Get in there like Pacquiao and fucking fight everybody. Fight high-level guys. You get to the end of your career and you have 3 losses, but you fought like 10 amazing elite specimens. That's better than 47-0 and a record of like, who? Like guys that are I've never heard it. They're like background characters in a video game, like Joe Johnson, Anyway, ultimately, I think that is what will make boxing a better sport again. And what won't do it is the Jake Pauls of the world and this fucking ass fuck company Triller putting like these, legacy fights with like Holyfield is like 93. You fucking didn't even know he was fighting, it looked like. It was, oh, that's today? Crack. I mean, even these announcers, you just see they're desperate for the raid. They're just like, yeah, it's just Jake Paul. He's bringing attention to the sport. Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah, it's because it's people are here, they're watching, and then maybe they'll watch another fight. They won't. They had this phenomenon in comedy. It was called a bringer show. You would bring a certain amount of people to the club to watch you perform, and so would a bunch of other people. That created a lineup based on no merit at all, just who has friends. Then you bring them, you can perform. The shows sucked. People would watch them and then never ever think, I should come back. This was a lineup of basically randoms off the street who just want to do this and are dabbling. Yeah, I'll come on. No, they won't. They'll watch their friend, and in this case, they'll watch Jake Paul, who they found on YouTube, and they like that kind of shit. They'll watch a shitty undercard, which will, if anything, was going to get them in the box. It would be the fights right before it. Undercards suck. Then they watch Jake Paul fight not a boxer again, and then they're like, yeah, okay, I mean, he's gotten better, and then they don't come back. They don't, and the return on it, maybe a few people, not worth it. It makes the sport a little more of a joke. Not as much as a lot of people say, like it's ruining it. I don't think that, but it's become its own separate thing. Like it's boxing adjacent, and the bigger that gets, it just becomes its own sideshow. Like it's just like watch old guys fight or YouTube stars, and it, if anything, creates more of a divide between real boxing and that thing, whatever you want to call it. Like, you know, combat entertainment. I don't even know what to fucking call it. It's like MMA boxing celebrity fights. That's all that's doing. And it's not getting boxing fans who are those are the people you want to keep. Those are the only ones there. You keep having fights like that, boxing fans click, nope. Get real fights together. Give us what we want to see. And I'm talking to promoters and boxers alike. Get them together. You'll be a legend if you're the first dude to do that this decade. Anyway, that's it. Let's watch it one more time. Let's watch it one more time. Yeah. Come on. Ready? Here we go. Swipe. Ooh. Almost. I wonder if he got him. If he lightly took a little beard hair off. Giving you a shave. Bam! Giving you a fucking jaw break. It wasn't a jaw break. It was like fucking cut him on the cheek. But I mean, he was pop, open hand. I mean, they're fine. It was had to be largely for show. It's all good. We're all friends at the end of the day. It's all, let's get in there, let's fight, let's go home. That already was more than Crawford Spence will fucking ever be. Just that exchange right there. Okay. See you tomorrow.
It's the end of the show. Like, subscribe, and comment. Don't be a dick.